So today on the Fixit Shed, I've got this Mantis tiller. It belongs to a friend of mine. They used it last year. They got it out this spring. Wouldn't start. So let's take a look at it and see what it does. All right, so we pull choke out and hit the primer bulb a few times. So the fuel take-up line is kind of in the bottom corner here of this fuel tank. So it's okay if it's not in this orientation. It should still be pulling up fuel. So let's give it a few pulls and see what it does. Not much. All right, so let's take a look at the spark plug and see if it's doing anything. All right, I turned off some of the lights. Let's see if we can see any spark coming from that spark plug. Oh yeah, we got spark. Yeah, we got spark, and I also can feel that the compression is different with the spark plug out. So definitely we have compression, we have spark, so we're not getting fuel. All right, so I have a little premix. So let's try and put a little bit in the cylinder and see if we can get it to fire up that way. I'm just going to tip back. I'm just going to pour a few drops, yeah, right, in. There we go. We got some in there. All right, so we got some fuel in the cylinder. Let's see if it will fire up. So. There it goes. All right, so we know it'll run. It's just not getting fuel. So let's take off the air cleaner, get the carburetor out, and take a look at it. All right, so it's just a wing nut that's holding on the air cleaner cover. There we go. And we got a pretty dirty air filter. And then we've just got two screws here that hold the air cleaner base and carburetor on. So we're going to get those two screws out. Let's just try a really big flathead screwdriver, see if we can get this in. Yeah. There it goes. All right. So those are both 3. Okay. So, and that's pretty much all that's holding the carburetor on. You just have your throttle. Let's see if I can get you over here. Alright, so this throttle cable just kind of fits down through this slot, so I'm just going to push it out with a smaller screwdriver here. The move, there it goes. Now it's free. So you just push that down and out of the slot. There we go. All right, now there's just 2 hoses that are holding it on, 2 fuel lines. They don't look so great. Pretty hard. Let's see. I'm just going to crack this cap open a little bit so that there's no pressure. That wasn't too bad. I was afraid they were going to be real hard and hard to get off. Yep, they're usable. And just be careful because there is a gasket right here. If it doesn't want to come off. I am just going to leave it alone. Yeah, that's pretty solid on there. I'm just going to leave that alone for now. So we just want to see if we can get this running. All right, let's get it over to the desk. Take a look at it. All right, let's get the bulb off here. Let's see. It still moves. That diaphragm might be okay. Provided I don't break it. Oh, it's cracked. That's no good. So that might be part of the reason it's not getting fuel. Yeah, right there. You can see this is a Zama carburetor. So there are a couple different kinds. This one is a Zama. There we go. Got that one. My finger's getting cold all of a sudden because there's gas leaking on them. Alright, so there is a little screen right in there, in that hole, and it actually looks pretty clean, so I don't think that's super dirty. I don't think that's what's causing it to not get fuel. So all of this actually looks really, really clean. I don't see any gunk too much anywhere. Really, I have a feeling it's just this diaphragm that has a crack in it that was not letting it pump fuel. You can see where the screwdriver went through. So that's split and cracked, so that's no good. As soon as I figured out that this was broken, I went and tried to find where I could get a replacement and how much it would be. And actually what I found is that these carburetors are not very expensive. So I ordered a carburetor and it comes with fuel lines and fuel filters and an air filter and the spark plug. So it comes with everything that I'm going to need to put this back together, and it was $13. So, and I know, oh, you don't want to buy Chinese junk and put it in your machine, but if you look in here, this one was made in China. So Chinese is original equipment. So to get these out, I think you actually have to break these caps. They don't seem to want to like slide off. So getting these high and low adjustments out are not going to be easy to begin with. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people, you just cut these off so that you can have maximum adjustment. I think what they do is they screw these into where they're supposed to be, and then they put the caps on. And that kind of locks them in place so you can't make a huge adjustment on them. You can just make a small adjustment. But let's... I'm going to take this needle out. Different tip. Let's try this one. There it goes. screw out. Oops. That's in there. There's the spring. And yeah, there's the needle. Alright, so that's cleared out. So it actually looks pretty clean. It may have just been that diaphragm, you know, because that's what pumps your fuel. So without that diaphragm working, you're not going to get any fuel. This off. These are your little valves that keep the fuel from going backwards, keep it moving in one direction through the carburetor. So this primer bulb is actually not too bad, but it'll come with new ones. So I will save that in case maybe I need it on something else. Let's see if I can get this little screen out. So the needle jet goes in this hole, and so you can kind of see there's a little pinhole down on the bottom of it. You're not going to be able to see it, but if you have a carburetor up close, you'll see it. And so the fuel goes in where this little screen is. So there's that little screen. So, but it looked pretty clean. So I'm guessing it's just this. You know, I would probably, if I was gonna, you know, try and save this, I'd spray it out and make sure all the passageways are clear. So maybe there's a passageway that's clogged that I can't see. Yeah, if I was going to try and get these out, I'd probably try and shave these tabs off. So, and let's see. Let's try and turn this in. One. Yeah. Okay, so that's like half a turn and that bottoms out. Not even. So where was that? Alright, so that was there. So, yeah, half a turn, and that bottoms out. So let's turn this out. So if you were going to take this out and then put it back in, you would turn it, you would seat it all the way, and then just back it up a half a turn. And that would go the way it was, and that was the high. There's an H here, so that was the high adjustment, and this is going to be the low adjustment. low adjustments a little bit longer than the high adjustment. So I think that's pretty much fully disassembled as I would get it if I was going to try and clean it out and rebuild it. Alright, so I ordered a new carburetor, and I got this kit that came with all of the hoses, some extra primer bulbs, and some filters, even a spark plug, a couple of gaskets that you might need. Okay, yeah, so one side's the air cleaner, one side's the intake. Alright, so let's go ahead and get this on. Alright, so this actually comes with all of the hoses already through this grommet. So I'm just going to pry this grommet out, and then we're going to put all this new stuff in. Alright, got all that out. So I got the piece of the fuel line and with the filter already out. So, alright, put this in. Does that fit? Just fits through the hole. How about that? Alright. It's almost in. Alright. It looks like that's in. Alright, so this is going to go to the bottom of the carburetor. This is the air line. Let's see. Make sure I get these right. So this is the vent that just gets tucked up there. Yeah, doesn't matter. That's the vent. This goes to this is the fuel line to the bottom of the carburetor. This goes to the primer bulb. Okay, so let's see if we can get this. That's the old gasket. Get that off. There we go. A little bit right there. Try and clean up. Alright, that's pretty well cleaned up. Alright. So let's go ahead and plug these hoses in. So this is the one for the fuel line. And get this. Okay, this one for the bulb. Alright. Let's go on just a little bit more. There we go. This gasket on the air filter side. Oh, that is right. That's the right place. Alright. So I'm just feeding the screws through first. And I'm going to put this way. Alright, and then we're going to screw that into the intake. These hoses might be just a little bit long. Yeah. Okay. So I'm gonna disconnect these, and then I'm gonna have to trim them down a little bit. run that hose off. There it goes. All right. Okay, so it's easier to put these hoses on when the carburetor's not on. And when you're putting this on, you want to make sure that your choke is free. It's not stuck. Okay. The choke is free to move. All right, now let's try and deal with these hoses. All right, so yeah, right here is the nipple. So I think I can get that on there. That's okay. That length will be fine. The upper one really is just very short. It just needs to go right here. So I'm going to cut a little bit off. So it'll be right about there. Okay. That might even still be a little too long. But if it is, I might try and just push it in the tank. Or actually, I wonder if I can pull from the inside. Can I see that one? Yeah. I think I'll just pull it in. Do it. Yep. So that should be good enough. I can push air, so we're doing all right. All right, that's the round end. So we're gonna push this up. Get the cable in there. Come on. There we go. All right. Oops. So that's working. All right, now we can put the air cleaner back on. Got the nice new filter in there, and we are ready to go. All right, is this tight? Make sure the spark plug is tight. That's good. All right, let's see if this will start. All right, I've kind of already given it a couple pumps. We'll put the choke on, and let's give it a couple pulls. All right, so let's make some adjustments on the high and low settings and see if we can get this thing running a little better. Let's see, I'm going to turn them all the way in. That seemed like an awful lot. I'm just seating them very gently. All right, so the low should be out about 1. On the Yamaha carburetors, the low is out 1.5. And the high is about 1. So let's go. Where are you? Let's see if this one works any better. Yeah, that's better. All right, so right there is seated, so we're gonna go half, 1.5, and this one is seated, so then we're gonna go half, 1. All right, so that's where a Yamaha carburetor would be tuned. So let's see if that makes any difference. I got my choke out. We got gas in the tank. So give it some primes. Okay. Let's see. Boy, that seemed promising. Now let's put the, maybe we don't need the choke anymore. All right, so that seems to be working pretty well. So if you got something out of this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up. And if you want to help this channel out, please consider subscribing or becoming a member by clicking the join button below. Thanks for watching. Take care.